I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty.
Renovating a house is expensive.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Red Pill. Yo, things are getting tougher by the day, and owning a home is not fun anymore. Owning a home should be a thing of happiness and achievement, but with the current living standard and state of the housing market, owning a home has now become a nightmare to many. Watch the video and let me know what you think in the comment below.
This is where all of my money goes. Every time a bill comes, I just hate owning a home because who needs to pay $250 for fucking electric? When I lived with my parents, I was living my best luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, was just, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working as a nurse, okay? I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe that her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately. Now, don't get me to fooling y'all, because it was worth it in the long run, because that house is now worth like 2 times what it was worth then. So I'm actually doing pretty good. But at the time, when I tell you I was struggling, I had to go to my parents every other day for dinner because your girl could not feed herself.
Renovating a house is expensive.
So something life-altering has happened to me and my family, and I've been debating about whether I want to talk about it or not, but I just saw a TikTok of a guy that went through the exact same thing. The only difference was, in my opinion, it's worse for my family than what he went through, but I just saw that he got through it, and so I'm going to go ahead and share my story. And the huge reason why I also didn't want to share it is because it's embarrassing, and I know it's our fault, and we should have done our research, and we should have known better. So the blame is on us, but you live and you learn, and we have definitely learned from this experience. But what happened is that we purchased a home last December. We moved into it was our second home, so we had sold our first home, and we were able to purchase the second home. It was a beautiful home. The price was definitely higher than our first home, but it was something that was doable for us, and it was our dream home, and we thought that we were going to raise our children in this home, and we were going to have this home for a very long time. And the mortgage was 3832, which might seem high for some, but for us it was fine. We could do that. And so then in February, we received the new mortgage for the year that had the escrow and all that, and it showed that we had an escrow shortage of $23,000 because whenever they had calculated the mortgage and the property taxes whenever we had purchased the home, they calculated it for the land. They didn't take into account that a home was going to be on the land. So whenever they realized, there's a home on the land, then it gave us an escrow shortage of that $23,000. So our mortgage went from $3832 to around $7,200 a month, $7,200 and change. So 3832, affordable. 7,200, no way we can do that. No way at all. Whenever somebody had mentioned how, a new home, they probably did calculate it land value, so it's probably going to go up. I was thinking, maybe it'll go up $1,000, and I was prepared for that. Okay, we can do it. We can even though to me that's expensive, a $4,800 mortgage is a lot for me, but I was like, we can do it, no problem. But to go to $7,200 a month, like, no, I live in Texas, and I could probably be living in a mansion or something close to a mansion, paying $7,200 a month. Our home is not, or I could have 2 homes in Texas for that price. I could have 2 mortgages to pay $7,200 a month, even three homes. So, that was just ridiculous to me. And like I said, I know we are to blame. We should have done our research. The realtor that we had, she was not a good realtor. And the mortgage company was the seller's mortgage company, the one that they went with and recommended. So I'm sure, they knew what they were doing. They knew that they calculated land value, and they showed us that 3832 because they knew that's what we could afford and we would purchase the home. And they knew that if they had told us the truth of how much it would be, that we probably wouldn't have purchased the home. So they knew what they were doing. So while it is our fault, we should have done the research and found out, that the price was only land value and it wasn't calculated correctly. I still feel like they, just being decent humans, they should have let us know that it's going to go up. So we have this escrow shortage. Thankfully, I called. So the mortgage company sold it to another mortgage company. So I called them, and what they did, I let them know, I'm like, we're going to sell our home. We're going to put it on the market. Like, we can't afford this. So they said, okay. So what they did was they stretched that 23,000 escrow shortage. They stretched it out for 3 years, which dropped our mortgage to now, I think it's $5,166 is what we're paying right now, which is still a lot. But our home is for sale. It's been for sale for a little over 40 days now. We haven't had any interest in it. So this is already going on our 2nd month that we're paying that $5,000 and change on the mortgage. And every month it's like, praying that somebody, we need a buyer. And we dropped the price. We've already dropped the price 3 times. But it is what it is, We'd never expected in our wildest dreams that this would happen, but people need to be aware whenever you purchase a new home, you need to make sure that you ask your realtor, ask the mortgage company, are you calculating it on just the land, the property taxes, or are you calculating it as though there's a house on that land? Because there is a huge difference. And I don't want anybody to be in the same situation as us, where you end up having to sell your dream home. And then even, like I said, now, not only are we selling our dream home, but nobody wants to buy it. See, you can see there's our for sale sign right there. So I'm going to continue to pray, and I have faith in God, and I know everything happens for.
So just had a great conversation with Shonda. She found me on TikTok, gave me a call. She's in Maryland. She's trying to buy a house. And she reached out to me because she wanted a second opinion. I talk about that a lot. Here's the thing, though. And this is really, really important if you're looking to buy a home. Start with the end in mind. People ask me all the time, hey, I want to buy a home. Carlo, where do I start? Start with the end in mind, because here's the thing. She got pre-approved for $350,000. And she reached out to me because she wanted to be approved for more because she's trying to buy in PG County, Maryland. And if you know, very expensive. Maybe the area that you're in is very, very expensive. And you're thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute, I'm pre-approved, but the homes in the area that I'm looking, they're not in that price range. So what she was trying to do, and rightfully so, is to try to get approved for more so she could buy something that she wants, right? But the thing is that the lender didn't go over what the monthly payment is at the current pre-approval amount. So at the end of the day, it didn't matter, or it wouldn't matter if I were able to step in and help her to get approved for more. Because already the monthly payment with the pre-approval amount that she has now is too high. Because listen, my friends, here's the thing. The goal is not to buy a house. The goal is to be able to stay in it. The goal is to be able to stay in it. And here's the thing. She's like, well, at the price range that I'm looking at, everything that I'm looking at is a foreclosure or a fixer-upper, and I don't want to do that. So 2 of the biggest regrets, by the way, right? A lender telling you what 2 of the biggest regrets are that home buyers have, right? They just polled 500 people that bought a home. The two biggest regrets: number one, unexpected repair cost, and number two, the location. Because what happened was maybe they couldn't afford in the area that they wanted to buy, so they ended up buying something anyway, and they regretted the location. So you have to understand, the point of this is understand, have the end in mind. Understand that. What's the maximum mortgage payment that you'd be comfortable with? Because I said, Sean, I'm like, listen, even if I'm able to step in and help you to get approved for a lot more, the payment the way that it is right now, when I looked at it for her, is more than what she's comfortable with. So just keep that in mind, because this is going to save you a lot of time, money, and energy. Because look at it this way. They need to be in alignment, right? What you feel that you can afford monthly, right? What you're pre-approved for, they have to align in the area that you're looking to buy in. Hope this helps.
Transparency post. I regret buying a house. I regret it a lot. If I could go back to January 2022, I would tell that girl, do not. Just find another apartment to move into, because doing all this shit that I have to do for this house and all the unexpected costs, high dollar unexpected costs that I keep running into, to be handling it by myself, it's ass. So to all you young women who want to go out and buy a home, I encourage you to really, really think about it. Talk to some people and really see the ins and outs. I mean, it always sounds good. Oh yeah, your mortgage is only going to be $1,000 until they reevaluate your property taxes, and that bitch goes up $200. You know, it's trash. 85 degrees, your AC is going to go out. You don't want to know how much that costs. It's trash.
I'm upset. I'm literally working in my car right now with my cat because there's people inspecting my apartment right now. So if you don't know, I'm buying an apartment and I'm meant to be moving in like 2 weeks, and I'm just pissed off. I'm pissed off. I've been pissed off multiple times through this process because I just feel like nobody can give me a straight answer about anything, specifically around money, right? Buying an apartment by myself is such a massive thing, and it's so many instances along the way. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm asking all the questions. I'm constantly asking, like, and is this everything? Are there additional fees? Are there other things I should be worried about? And I'm pissed off again today because all of a sudden there's an additional payment that I'm due to make that I didn't know about. So to break down what's happened, basically, I put an offer on this apartment. I called a broker about financing, and he originally, the amount that he said that they could loan me was going to leave me with a $27,000 deposit that I was going to have to put down for this unit. And I was like, great, easy. I had $45,000 saved, so I was like, great, no problem. We talked about it a little bit more. We looked at the place. There was other stuff going on that needed to be factored in. I've got a HECS debt. Ended up being about $38,000, I think is what it came to, was going to be my deposit amount. And I was like, perfect, $38,000 for the deposit, and then I'll have a little bit of money left over to, you know, like eat for the after I move in. Like, you know, I'll have money in my bank account, so this is perfect. I move ahead. I sign the contract for this apartment, right? I get a call from my broker. Oh, you know, there's an issue. They've actually come back and said that they're not going to be able to loan you as much as they said they were going to be able to. It's now a $49,000 deposit that you need. And I'm like, bro. Anyway, it was going to be like, you know, 2 more months basically until I was going to be able to settle, because there were tenants and I was going to get paid a couple more times. I get paid monthly before we settled. So I was like, I can make it work. I have 45, they need 49 in 2 months time. You know, I had to pay an initial amount of 35, did that, and then I'm expecting a bill basically for another $14,000. I get the bill today, $18,000. That brings the total amount that I'm going to have to pay to $53,000. Take into consideration, the first estimate was 27, then it was 38, then it was 49, now it's 53. That is not factoring in fees that I have to pay to leave my apartment.
I do not understand the point of owning a home. Not only do you have to pay an outrageous amount of money for a down payment on the house, but everything that breaks is then your responsibility to fix it. I don't have to bring my trash cans to the end of the street on trash night. All of my neighbors are super close, so I could just walk from apartment to apartment and meet friends easier. Anything that comes up, literally anything, I walk across the street to my leasing office, bang on their door and say, hey, I need this fixed. Now, I don't have to pay anybody for it. You're telling me if I have a house, I have to call somebody in special to come and fix something, and then I have to pay them extra money to do it? I don't really think I'm interested in that. I don't want to mow my lawn, and I don't want to shovel snow in the winter. I just don't get the point of having a home.
Man, I am not even gonna lie to you. My mortgage has my mental state fudged up right now. I purchased my house with my girlfriend at the time, in June of 2023? No, 2022. I just got this handy dandy letter in the mail from my shitty ass new mortgage company, Celine Finance. I fucking hate you, by the way. And guess how much after 2.5 years we've gotten off of our actual principal payment? 2.5 years. Mind you, the past year and a half, we've been paying extra on our mortgage. Guess how much? Guess how much is paper towels? $8,000. I got a mortgage for $227. These papers right here, these papers that's stuck to the wall right now, they say we've only paid $8,000 off in 2.5 years. My mortgage payment is like $1,800. In 2.5 years, we've paid off $8,000. The American dream got me fucked up.
66% of millennials who bought a home during the pandemic have buyer's remorse. Why, you might ask? Well, some people found themselves trapped in a competitive market, settling for homes they weren't in love with, or waiving inspections just to guarantee they get the house in the first place. Check this out.
We made the decision to waive an inspection. We have since had plumbing issues. We currently have a hole in our dining room ceiling because we just had a leak in our plumbing.
My wife and I actually bought a house around that time. I wouldn't say we have buyer's remorse, but replacing an HVAC system and water heater definitely humbled us both.
My husband and I are starting to look at buying a house, and I have a couple of things that I just have questions on. The first one being, why is a broken down shack $350,000? I am appalled at the prices right now. And yes, I know the market's not that great, but let's be for real for a second. Also, I feel like there should be some law about first-time home buyers being able to get out of their lease, because the fact that you have to rush to find a house, but also slow down and not find one too quickly to make it line up with when not your lease is up, but when you have to give notice for your lease, which is usually 2 full months before your actual lease is up. It just feels like this huge game that I genuinely don't want to play, and I hate it. I also love following along on all the come house hunting with me, come apartment touring with me, but you'll not find me filming other people's literally still lived in homes. I feel like that is so bizarre to show people's belongings. I kind of get it when it's an empty space and who really cares, but a lot of the houses we've looked at, people still have their personal belongings in, and I'm not gonna be putting that on the internet. I like following other people's videos, but I'm not gonna be the one to do it, that's for sure. So yeah, I just feel like the whole thing is a scam, and quite frankly, I'm over it.
Many millennials regret buying homes. This is why it's important for you to run your numbers so that you don't end up house poor. Let me show you what I mean. What you can qualify for and what you can comfortably afford is sometimes two different things. So if you make $100,000, the typical debt to income ratio a lender is going to use when qualifying you is about 40%. That gives you $40,000 divided by 12 months, gives you a monthly allowance of $3,333 if you have no debt. So you could buy probably around a $400,000 house. Your payment would be around $3,300, and you would just qualify and you'd be celebrating. But the next step you must take with your family is, what is your take-home pay? If you make $100,000, your take-home pay is around what? $6,200? If your house payment without utilities or anything is $3,300, that is 53% of your net pay. This is where you're creeping into the house poor area, and you don't want to be there. But I understand your frustration, because you're like, hey, I make $100,000. How can I find anything for under $400,000? Because back in the day, the financially responsible thing to do was to have your house payment be about 30% of your net. But if that were true for someone making $100K today, they would have to buy a $240,000 home which doesn't really exist in most places. So I understand your frustration. But when you sit down with your lender, also sit down with your family, talk with your lender, and look at your net pay so that you don't end up house poor and you can actually enjoy the home you're purchasing.
Yo, let me know what you think in the comment. Like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next one.